Hello, everyone. This is Meredyth with a Y, and I am your host, Meredyth Willits. Today, we are going to go deep, changing lives, and I am giving you the keys to the castle. Today on the podcast, I have Natalie Mills, who is an international jewelry designer and seller. She's into philanthropy, and she is the designer of the crystal face masks that you see all over. She is a designer for many Hollywood stars. She is all over the runway, and I have her today. So let's do this. Natalie, thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited for you to share your story with all of my listeners coming from South Africa and just killing it in the jewelry and fashion world. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Meredyth. I'm so excited to share my story and to have a good chat and the journey's been incredible. The people have been even more incredible, but I'm just so humbled and honored to talk about my journey and what got me here today.
Yeah. So if you can just, I'm going to give you the floor because your story is fantastic. It's amazing. And, it's super inspiring. So I anyone that is, pulling themselves up, coming from another place. So you just go because this is your time. Thank you. Go.
Yeah, thanks, Meredyth. Well, my story started many years ago. And when I say many years ago, I'd say 8 to be exact. So my journey with jewelry and accessories and flair really started when I went with my parents on a vacation and I started collecting a whole bunch of seashells. Having a look at the seashells and being, that designer that's got that internal flair, grabbing the seashells, kind of like threading them together and making bracelets and making necklaces, but also thinking to myself, right, I think I can make a little bit of petty cash with this as well. So taking, after vacations, going back home, re-looking at it. Actually, I used to take some nail polish and kind of paint the edges and going around the neighborhood and selling them and earning, a little bit of petty cash. And I think, look, I don't think they were the best designs, but I think people really saw my passion and thought, well, let me kind of support her. But I think that was the key of showing me your creations. You can actually make a little bit of money doing that. And that was from a very young age. Then at the age of, I think I was, standard 4 in South Africa is about grade 6 here. Always, again, very entrepreneurial. I used to go and buy stationery from a lot of the local supermarkets and a lot of the local stores and then sell those to all of my classmates and eventually like the whole standard. So I think I was just really born with that grit, that determination, that entrepreneurial flair. But you've always got to think about it, right? You've got to think about out of the box. But when I was 4 years old, I said to my mom, one day I'm going to be moving in America and I'm going to be on TV. Where that came from, I don't know, but I'm a firm believer of the universe, firm believer about what you say goes out there, and full circle, here I am in the USA. So I started my jewelry and accessory business in 2012. Family fell in a lot of hard times. I never got anything. I never got any tertiary education. Kind of found myself at the age of 18 having to look after my mom, my dad, and a little bit of an absent parent situation there. And what I really did at a very young age, and this is kind of advice that I would give out, is I was a sponge and I would absorb absolutely everything that my bosses taught me and they told me. And when they said to me, Natalie, I'd like you to do a project, I would never just do it. I would go and understand, why am I doing this and what is the goal here and why are they doing that? And I was very blessed to have such incredible mentors that kind of mentored me, but I also had the foresight to say, you learn from these people, Natalie, because you're going to need to use this one day. And started my own business at the age of 25 with one of the banks, where I kind of developed, software around the banks, but always had a flair for jewelry and fun and fashion and bling. I mean, everything is bling. I was looking at photos of me the other day because we're redesigning the website, and I saw, I think I was about 12 years old and I've got these big shoulder pads and they all blinged. You see, that's the proof. It's over here. So, having a look at saying, I'm, don't really have a lot of money, but wanting the good quality. That's when I launched my brand, Crystal Creations by Natalie Mills in South Africa in 2012. I wanted to provide ladies that had good quality jewelry that wasn't going to break the bank and that wasn't going to fall apart. finding that middle gap is, I think, what really helped me to get into a market that was really necessary. So from 2012 onwards, that's really when the journey of jewelry and accessories was for me. So again, rerouting back to 8 years old to doing that, to coming full circle, knowing that that was just something within me, and it was a passion and a drive and something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So you know, in South Africa, we used to supply the equivalent of a Macy's and a Nordstrom, you know, a lot of the larger stores. Again, started from very humble beginnings, took my kind of petty cash money and took my savings and said, I'm putting it into this brand. And yeah, so in 2015, we were invited to the JCK show in Las Vegas to kind of showcase the brand, because we started getting a lot of international attention, and showcase the brand. Went back to South Africa, trying to run the organization there, as well as trying to get a business off the ground in the USA is impossible. Time zone wise, investment wise, it was just really tough. And I thought to myself, if I want to really make a go of this, I'm going to have to take the risk and really take the leap and move over to the USA. So I was awarded the Einstein Green Card from the US government, and that is the equivalent of you know, if you won a gold medal in a sporting event, or a Grammy in, you know, singing, I was recognized as being top 1% globally for my business acumen.
Wow.
So I thought, with my green card Einstein, you know, already seeing and feeling the market, let me go in. And I relocated my company headquarters and my family to the USA in 2016. It was tough.
Yeah, that's not a small move. That's a
Yeah.
jump. Yeah.
And I mean, you've taken so long to build your business to then now restarting. I mean, South Africa's got a different business mindset. It's not so technical, not so tech savvy. Everything is very much online here. So having to relearn and readjust and absorb the American way, it's been fun. It's been challenging, but I love to challenge myself. But it's been really inspiring, and it's opened me up to, you know, where we are today. I think what has led a lot to the success of the brand, besides the culture of kindness, I believe kindness is your reasoning why you do it. That good vibe and vibration will always show out in other ways. But I think we managed to design jewelry that looks very much like the real deal, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And people want to look like they're wearing diamonds and bling and glam, but they don't want to, for security reasons, but also they don't want to pay the price. And I think that's where the Natalie Mills brand is sitting, you know, being able to bring that bling, that glam, but not breaking the bank. So really, that's been my journey, from obviously so much in between, but we need 5 days to go through that. But
Right.
That's really, you know, the process of where I kind of am today.
The one thing that, as you were talking about your beginnings of being 18 and then having this job and that job, and you identified these people as mentors. And I think so many kids these days, they want to go from graduating from whatever, either high school or college, university, and they want to go, like, you know, not to speak ill of the millennials, and I get it, but they want to be vice president in five days. You know what I mean? They want to leapfrog the process. And, you know, or they look at menial jobs as time wasters, that they're just trying to make $12 an hour, or whatever it is. Yeah. And I think what I'm listening from you is that real key component of understanding that you could learn good things from managers, bad things from managers, but whatever it is, all of the little pieces, parts. And, you know, I had an interview yesterday with a gal, and she said, all my pieces and parts have gone into my business. And I think that is what so many people are missing today, is that it doesn't matter if it's being a mom, being a wife, paying the bills at home, you know, a college internship, or a job at McDonald's, all these pieces, parts. Your job when you were 8 years old selling jewelry, just that inspiration of going, wait, I did this, I sold it, it made money. Holy crap, there's something going on here that, you know. And I think people underestimate the power of recognizing a mentor, even if it's a 25-year-old kid who just happens to be your manager. And I think that kids are underestimating the power of the journey and the importance of the path as getting you to being ready.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that we always need to look at is people that are wanting to kind of circumvent that. Nothing teaches you what years teach you. Nothing. You cannot get experience without walking that path and doing the time. So a lot of times when I have a look and I say, okay, well, how old? Okay, well, they're 21. They just don't have the years. And that is what it really is. That you can't circumvent time. You've got to walk through those processes to get where you want to get. And also don't waste your time. So if you have got a job and you're not really enjoying it, there is something to learn there. Don't waste your time doing the mundane A to Z things. Look into it, absorb it, understand it, get involved, use initiative, like broaden your horizons, because there's always something to learn. And funny enough, in South Africa, having a lot of staff, I would always ask them when it was time for them to move on, because I always believe that there's always a chapter. I'd always say, did you learn from me? And it was yes. And if they would turn around and say, not really, Natalie, I would think that I'd completely failed them, because I want to inspire people to teach and to grow through the chapter that they're with me. Like, we need to grow and nurture. And so absolutely, you can't circumvent that time. And you just got to do it with the experience. And looking, if your foresight one day I want to open up my own business, there are so many facets to it. So I was lucky to be in a marketing and advertising environment that I've met, which handled event management and sponsorship. One of my first jobs was telesales, right? So that was phoning people for gym contracts. And at one stage I was selling the vacuum cleaner, the Kirby vacuum cleaner. So nothing makes you tough like knocking on the door and saying, I need to go vacuum your carpet and show you what's going on there. So all that cemented me, as well as the marketing, to, okay, how do I now adapt that with my own brand and my own business? But being open to it. You've got to have that open mindset as well. Otherwise, you're not going to learn. You're not going to learn. And nothing is a waste. Nothing is a waste.
Yeah. And the other thing too that I see so often right now is people that are just like placeholders. They go to work, they're holding place, they stay there for 8 hours, they go home, they collect a paycheck, and they're just kind of going through time, and I tell my 2 older kids all the time, because they're in that process of finding their way, about, you should go and have like never work a day in your life kind of concept, like enjoy it. Don't just go there to hold a place, to take a paycheck, to hold a place, to hold a paycheck, and think that you're beating the system. Because there's kids these days that think, well, I didn't do shit all day. I was like on Facebook or whatever, but I mean, they're paying me. And it's like, you're not beating the system, because you just wasted 40 hours of your life in 1 week, not being inspired, not being creative, not living a life, not inspiring someone else, not helping the world. And you've just been a placeholder. And being a placeholder, just because it pays money, what are you really doing? I mean, you're better off going and getting a job that you feel have fun at Starbucks, or go to Target, like wherever it is that you feel inspired, that you get to talk to people, even if it's less money. At least you're not living your life as a placeholder.
Yeah, and you're learning and you're growing. And I think you're absolutely 100%. I think one thing my dad, my wise dad once taught me is, he said to me, I came to a crossroad in my life and I wasn't too sure what I was going to do. And I think it was studying, but I wasn't too sure. And he just said to me, Natalie, where would you be in 5 years from now if you didn't make that decision? And then where would you be in 5 years from now if you did make that decision? So you're going to be somewhere in 5 years' time. But what kind of a person and what kind of a growth are you going to have? But I want to encourage people that feel like they are placeholders. They're not. Every single job out there has got a critical position in any organization. If you're our packing, and we have got such a beautiful family here that does our packing and facilitation, and they do our online orders, they are critical. They're not just packers to me. They are getting our customers their products ready, who are exciting and waiting to receive it. There's no job out there that it doesn't have some kind of a meaning. If it was, the job wouldn't be available. So you might feel like you're a placeholder, but you're not. You've got an important role, a receptionist, anything.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're talking Kirby sales, I remember back in the 90s when that was the thing. And then you'd go vacuum their mattress. I mean, but that is no joke. I mean, and so it's, I love the fact that you paid attention, like, okay, I'm going to take this. I don't like this. I could see you doing that. I don't know what I'm like, okay, that's a good thing. I never want to do that. That's a great thing. We will not be incorporating that, because you do, though, you do learn the tricks of the trade, and it builds you to where you're at today. And no part of it is lost. No
No,
part of it is not
no.
used, except for maybe algebra or biology. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I work with crystals and sizing, and let's get the size of this. That helps me with my algebra. Let me tell you, when we're looking even at the development of our masks, we need to symmetrical. We need to do that. We need to do it. So it's like that actually helped me a little bit. How
I
many
love it.
crystals on my bracelet? What's the cost of that going to be?
Right.
A little bit, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I think, when people leave school, I think people need to be a little bit more equipped for the real world.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if the vision is, wow, I am matriculating, the world is my oyster. You know what? It gets so much harder. And we need to be like, instilled on the brutality, the tough, the no's, the doors closing, the frustration, the trying to get something off, but we're not. We need to be equipped that that's the stages where things really get real. And I don't feel I was that much in school equipped for when I left, but I've always had that tenacity and that drive and that hunger within me. Like I want to be somebody in my life. Like I don't want to just go through the process. I want to make a difference and be somebody. But some people don't have that, and that's so okay.
Yeah.
It's so okay. What makes the world so beautiful is we are all so different.
Yeah.
Imagine we were all the same. Like I always say, imagine we were all the same and we were all in love with the same guy. Imagine what it would look like. So that's what makes the world so different. Is we so beautiful? Is we just so different?
Yeah, it looked like The Bachelor, where everyone's fighting over one.
And they fight with each other, and then you taking one. I know. Imagine that. That would be a bit of a mess, I think. But good. It keeps us entertained, and there's kind of helps us to escape. And yeah, absolutely.
So, and I was on your website, and I have to tell you, your pieces not only are gorgeous, and I'm not just saying this, they are literally stunning. And the price point is insane. I don't know how you're doing it, but you're doing it. And I mean, if anyone wants to see, she's wearing a necklace right now. I might be dying over it. And the earrings, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is kind of a moment. So if you want to see it, take a look over on YouTube and watch the interview, or go on her website. But if you want to see what I'm talking about, go on YouTube. But it is stunning. But the price point, I was just blown away by. I mean, like when I was on there, I'm like, I could literally get a bunch of pieces for a collection, and I'm not breaking the bank, and it's quality stuff. I mean, this is crazy. I don't know what you're doing, but I mean, it's really amazing. It's gorgeous.
Well, this is where I found the gap in 2012. Is I wanted to have something that was quality, but that wasn't going to break the bank. I want to be accessible, right? I want people to be able to purchase a Natalie Mills piece, not break the bank, but feel and look glamorous. Interestingly enough, this design element that I'm talking about, it's actually from the Icon collection. But this design was created when I was going through a really, really difficult time in my life. And I always say, turn your pain into power. So what you'll see in this collection is I've got the cubic zirconia crystals right behind a transparent kind of crystal on top. And the message behind that was true beauty and strength shine from within. And I thought, during this time, what have I learned? And I've learned that you have got more strength inside you, Natalie, than what you realize. So how do you articulate that message and take it into a piece of art and transcend it? And that's why we did a backing of a cubic, which is very unique to our design style. But I think, to me, I want to reach the masses, not only making them look gorgeous and glamorous and beautiful, but to spread our message. Our company message is a culture of kindness. And I'm always synonymous with saying a kind act today can change the world in the most beautiful way. So to me, a lot of the times the accessories is the bridge to get the message of what our company and what our brand stands for. So the more people I reach with the beauty, the more open to, a kind act today can really have that much power. So yeah, I mean, we just want everybody to nobody should be alienated from feeling beautiful, right? So that's the kind of approach that we've got.
Yeah. And I mean, your pieces are just stunning. And just the fact that you just explained there's like all this other meaning behind the pieces is even just next level. But we cannot, we cannot not talk about the bling face mask that you
Yeah.
designed that is everywhere right now. Like it is iconic at this point with your brand and what you put out there. So can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, so the Destiny Crystal face mask, and I mean, we were one of the top selling products in the USA for last year. But what I wanted to do was, right, you got to follow guidelines, follow the recommendations, but we still want to feel and look beautiful. And how do I do that based on what the requirements are? So we kind of really got to work with having to look at what crystals and what rhinestones and what we can put on the face mask that can still make us feel glamorous. If this is going to be a way that we're going to have a new norm, let's make fun with it. Let's make ourselves still feel pretty. And that's why we developed that. And we came up with that in a lot of color tones. We also wanted something very functional, right? There's two ways that you always got to look at something: gorgeous, but functional. So our design, you're able to put in the washing machine. It's got a filter. It's got adjustable ear straps. So it's one of the most durable face masks, but it's one of the most beautiful. And we have come up with so many different colors of crystals. We've got the gold crystal and just a bit of colorways. And I mean, we've got so many beautiful and so many valued customers that have got like the whole collection. They've got like a mask to go with every outfit. So it's all about, let's be sensible with what's going on right now as well. And let's be pretty while we're sensible.
Yeah. And I mean, we're not out of the mask season. I mean, I was talking to my 12-year-old and she's like, Mom, I don't know if we're going to be without a mask at school until through next year. So everybody that's listening that likes what they hear about, these crystal masks, it's still time to buy because I mean, my husband just told me this morning, can you buy some more masks? I'm like, what are you guys doing? Eating them? Like, come on, like, where are they going? But I love the adjustable ear. So thank you for putting that in there, because watching people do this while you're talking to them and keep pushing the mask up over their nose is a little maddening. So thank you for making
And he
that.
got this sweet mat. Ours is a very snug fitting around the nose, so it doesn't even need that kind of nose wire. We kind of really went into a lot of thought on how we do that so it doesn't fog the glasses and do all of that. But I mean, we come out with seasonal trends all the time. So like we've just come out with Mother's Day masks, we did Easter masks and Patrick. So we just, whatever the theme is, let's just have fun with it. Always got to be bling, always got to be shine. Like we've got 4th of July coming out as well. So we'll always continue doing that. I mean, we will be providing masks as long as they are needed. And we'll make sure that they're pretty and just keep our customers happy as well and follow whatever the guidelines are. Nobody really knows what is going to happen.
Right.
But we just go with the flow and what needs to be done.
Yeah. And when we were talking in the pre-interview, you were talking about the fact that the foundation of your business is the why, and you talked about the kindness, but it's really staying focused on your why, and it keeps you grounded, centered, balanced, and moving in a forwardly direction. So when you think about your why and how you incorporate the word why into your business and the people that work for you, what does that look like?
Well, one thing I always used to say to myself is, Natalie, you've always got a foundation of a business, which is the truth. And if your foundation is rocky, your business could be in a little bit of trouble. And that foundation that I used to see was very much the structural foundation. Make sure you've got a good marketing message, make sure your operations is right, make sure your finances are intact, your projects, your budgets. But what I really started realizing, very young into my entrepreneurial, is the why of why you do your business is just as critical as the second foundation. I see your first foundation. Why are you doing this? If it is for greed, if it is for, I just want to do this for a quick buck, is this, I just want to in and out, or is this, I want to do this because I want to make a difference. I want to inspire. I want to, and for me, I just believe that if we can all adopt a level of kindness, the world will be such a more beautiful place. And it all starts with us. And it is so simple. Kindness is such a powerful force that the neurons in your mind changes on a kind act. It is the only currency that is doubled when shared. You share a kind act, that is doubled. So to me, my first foundation is I want to spread kindness. And because I'm so driven and passionate about that, my second foundation, I make sure is just as intact? Have we got the right products to market? Is our pricing on point? What is our customer message looking like? What is the message we're telling, the audience? What is our deliverables like? And because I'm so first layer, my second layer, which is the operational side, is something that we pay so much more attention to, because I don't want my message to get stopped because of something. So in our office, I mean, we have got, I don't know if I got it behind, I think I've got It's Cool to Be Kind here, but everywhere around our office, there's always kind sayings. We are a kingdom company as well, so we do a lot of praying. But, even all of our customer service operations, they all know it's a message of kindness. It's kind of, that's just the Natalie Mills brand. I remember somebody actually commenting on something on Facebook the other day, and they were saying something, and they said, "Oh no, all I know about this brand is they're all about kindness." And I thought, "Oh, that's okay. That's works for me." But they said, "All we know about this brand is they're all about kindness." And I get a lot of mail from people. We're running our Kind Act campaign right now, and what we do is we encouraging people to nominate someone that has done a kind act and how that has changed their life. And we actually do a $500 Visa gift card voucher for those kind acts that are actually spotlighted. So if anyone listening wants to go to the website, there's a bottom section there, kind act, and go and nominate someone. What I wanted us to do is, I didn't want us to nominate ourselves. I wanted us to think of somebody else and let that person know what you've done is being valued, and I'm seeing it and I felt it. So that's, and again, everything we do is based around that philanthropy that we do, the give back that we do, all based on, the kindness.
Yeah. And I mean, admittedly, there's hundreds, thousands, I don't even know, of jewelry companies around the world. But what your, message also is that when you discover who you are and not conforming to others, people's, their life or their story or whatever. And so your story is your story, and you almost have to keep those blinders on.
You have to. And I think the thing that you say is that there's hundreds and thousands of companies out there, but there is only one of you.
Yep.
There's only one of you, and you have got a message inside you, and you need to follow your truth and do what you feel like your soul is telling you to do. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it costs a lot of money, and the journey isn't received as well by a lot of people. But that's what we put here to do, is to follow our purpose and try and find our purpose. And just now, kind of going back to what you said about people wanting to circumvent the process and become a CEO. Great. But you know what I learned it, and I actually got this advice, and I'm trying to think where I got it. Don't look so hard for your purpose. Do what you do every single day, and your purpose will find you. Because people just want to wake up. It's not always on Marcus, light bulb moment. Doesn't happen. It's me working with my crystals, me working with my design, that, wow, this is now evolved. But do what you do every day, and your purpose will find you. It's not always that we think like, whoa, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Not always like that. So just encourage those, just continue the path. Don't give up, and don't do it in a mind of mediocrity. Do it with heart, with passion, with openness to where I want to be, because it's all as it should be. Everywhere you are is exactly where you have to be right now. So it's your choice with what you do with it.
What's so funny is, I mean, you're probably, I think, the 7th podcast in this series. So you're going to be like, I think, right around there. So, and all the women that I'm interviewing have come from so many different avenues, be it their publicist has found me, or the group that I'm in, or just someone I know. So many different arenas all over the United States and world. And I just think it's so interesting that we're all kind of speaking that same, find your purpose, find your passions, listen to your soul, listen to the nudge, don't ignore it. Don't listen, keep your blinders on a little bit, have your friends, and you can bounce stuff off of, but you really need to not have that voice in your head naysaying you. You need to stay focused. You've got this. And you know, with what I do, being a coach and a clairvoyant and all that stuff, people might listen to this and be like, oh, well, these are all her woo-woo friends that like, you know, and it's like,
Uh,
no, these women, I didn't know them. I have nothing to do. I mean, like, this is who you are, and this is who the other woman, and I'm seeing a trend as I speak to each person going, the tides are changing.
yeah,
We're really moving into a new era of women empowered, women run businesses where we are listening to our soul. We are cultivating a culture where we
yeah,
do want to live and go to work every day that is fun and it is enjoyable. And it's not that hustle, you know, you hustle, but it's not that you have to work 25 hours a day or you're, you know, a piece of crap, or, you know,
yeah.
I expect you to answer the phone in the middle of the night, or you're not a loyal employee. Like, that is just so over there and so not a part of reality anymore. And it's unbelievable. Like, and I mean, because you're a wife and a mom too. I mean, this isn't like you have a whole nother life outside of
And
all of
I've
this
just
amazingness.
immigrated, and all my family's still in South Africa. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And I think why the reason why I feel like you need to, you know, listen to your purpose. I always say it's a basic principle. Well, there's two principles here, and it's a principle of never ever giving up. And as simple as what that is as difficult as what it is, right? And I mean, I'm known for I just never give up. And I always say one thing I never learned in school, and that was when to give up. And one class I never went to was that they taught you to give up. But it's that coupled with that burning desire within you. And if you follow your soul, it comes from within. And that passion, it can't be ignited. It can't, the flame just can't come down if it's so deep in you. And when you're listening to that voice, that's what it's the driving force, that burning desire that will say, don't give up. This is what I want. My soul is telling me, my gut is telling me, my inner voice is telling me I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
Sure, you've got to have common sense with it, right? You've got to have your logistical side, and you've got to look and do market research. And, you know, you could be following something that's not there, but it could be something that's leading you somewhere else.
Yep.
Your business plan might be, I really want to open this, and it's your passion, but your passion drives you to the right a little bit, and that's where you should be. So it all needs to kind of be coupled together with that desire, because soul passion comes from that desire within. And we've all got different desires. And again, you know, those that are comparing themselves to other people, how can you compare yourself to something you do not know?
Yeah.
You can go to a pizza restaurant, you can say, right, I'm going to order this this pepperoni, and I'm going to order the cheese. You've tasted both. You can compare. How do you compare yourself to another brand, another person, when you're not in their mind, you're not in their situation, you're not in their working environment, you're nowhere near them? You cannot compare yourself to that. You need to be realistic with those comparisons, and you need to remind yourself, oh, let me not go down that train. Oh, stop right there. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't have those billions of dollars like these companies do. I don't have that. Stop right there, and then just regroup and focus on what you're doing.
Yeah. Now, I mean, and what you're talking about, that following your path, there's two things there that I just love. Because I was imagining you with the crystal necklace that you're wearing, where it's the one crystal with in front of the other. And it, like, I have a painting in my house. The guy, he painted the whole thing, and then he chalked this
Yeah.
couple on the,
Yeah.
and then he went home that day. And when he came back to work the next day, he saw this whole painting was finished, and then there's two people that were chalked in the middle. And this was in Charleston, South Carolina. And when he saw it, he was like, oh my God, they look like ghosts. And it born this entire new painting series that he started to do that became this very famous Charleston painter, that he paints these ghosts, like mother and daughter, husband and wife, man going off to war, whatever. And it was literally because he couldn't finish it that day. And so when I'm imagining you making this necklace and following your path, what you're talking about, where it might not be this, but it's going to drag you over here. And it's like, I could see you like, okay, this crystal. And then you went, wait a minute, what if we do, and like, even inside of a jewelry piece, you can be led, even inside of, okay, there's masks, well, let's put two crystals, okay, let's cover the whole damn thing in crystal, you know what I mean? Like, there's a momentum when you are in that, I call it the flow, When you
Yes.
are in your flow and it's just going and you're like, I don't even think I'm making decisions anymore. Like it's taking over me, and things start getting easy and people show up and experiences show up, and this jewelry pattern shows up, or the whatever it is. I feel like when you're in your flow, it becomes super seamless and easy.
Yeah.
You're listening to that stuff. You're not fighting and blocking and making things difficult and waiting for the other shoe to drop and thinking of all the negative things of why you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And even saying it, I feel blocked, but literally, so let's go back to the flow. But
Yeah.
seriously, when you get in that flow, everything just starts, like, you start eating healthy, you start walking more, you start dressing better, you have better friends, you have better sex, you have better everything. And you're like, holy shit, I'm listening to my inner calling. I'm listening to that. And it's working. It's working.
And like you say, your flow, but like attracts like, good attracts good. When you
Yep.
start doing good and you start feeling good, you start doing the decisions that make you feel great, and it just kind of couples and it goes on. But I think also, kind of to go back to the story that you mentioned, it's also about being awake.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be awake. Sometimes these ideas and these suggestions and these flows come from a process of being just awake. Some people, I believe that there are so many opportunities that we pass by every single day because we are not awake,
Yeah.
because we are in a bit of a dwell, or there's just so much. Like, I could walk past my desk and the crystal's laying in a certain way next to this, and I'm, oh no, that's good. Then I'm like, no, wait, maybe we can bling this thing up. So, and also about having a lot of rods in the water, because you're going to have a lot of failures. You're going to have designs that you put out there and just aren't going to work. So we, like, right now, we've taken our masks and we've created a whole bunch of glam bands, calling them glam bands. But literally what it took was, I grabbed all my team. I said, right, guys, leave the office and come back, and I want you all to put the mask on a different part of your body. Like, put it on your ankle and put it on your arm, and because we got to get this bling going. And that was how the creation of our glam band, which is these gorgeous crystal headbands, came about. But it was just about playing and adapting and being in your flow, just
Being
like
in
what
the flow.
yeah.
I mean, and it's so good. I talked to a gal recently. She's a couple weeks ago, and she designed these leggings and Love and Fit and these nursing bras,
Okay.
but they're sports bras. And she was talking like all these women, it's one of those, I thought about that. You know what? I thought about that too. And I always say, like, I wonder how many people had the idea of the computer before, like, Steve Jobs, and just didn't act on it, or it was like, yeah, whatever, keep going, let's go out to dinner or whatever. Like, inspiration strikes at odd times, but when you're in your flow, you're in this positive vibration, this positive frequency, that you're more receptive, and things start, and then everything starts flowing to you because you don't poo-poo it. And so, yeah, I mean, that being awake, being woke, being positive, attracting those positive things, because I'm telling you right now, there's probably a million people who had bling mask ideas, but you are in the flow and you're like, do it, make
Yeah.
them.
And that's the thing, from conceptualizing to reality is a long chain.
A
And
long
too many
chain.
people give up. Too many people give up. You come up with this great idea, you go for it for a week, for 2 weeks. Oh, this is getting hard. Off it goes. And funny enough, I shared something on Facebook that I think it was even last week. And I said, imagine we all gave up. Imagine what the world would look like right now.
Ugh,
Just
wow.
imagine we all gave up. We first of all, we'd be talking here. There'd be nothing behind me here. It's just so imagine what the world would look like. So that's why I encourage those, don't give up, because you reshape the world, you're changing things, you're inventing things, and it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
If you think that it's going to be easy, you are failing before you've even started. Everything, there's just so much attention to detail that you've got to place. And if you want to have a really good idea, those are going to be even more time, and it's going to be more, and lots of no's, and lots of trials, and lots of different products that are just not working until you get it right.
Yeah.
But don't give up. Like, that's the key. It's hard, but it's the key. What goes around will come around. If you continuously do, it's just the law of physics. It's going to come back.
It's coming. And that's the other thing too. Like, this isn't easy. You know what I mean? Coaching isn't easy. And what I do is not easy. And podcasting, I mean, talk to anybody that podcasts, they will tell you it is a busy thing. You're always doing something. And sometimes, you're just like, I just want to go back to being a mom and making pancakes. You know what I mean? Like, why am I doing this to myself? And but at the end of that comment, at the end of that conversation is always, but this is me. This is who I am. I can't unbe me. This is my passion and my calling. And I think that just like, when you're like, I'm not having any more kids, or you know what I mean? Or I want one more or whatever, that knowing, that inner knowing. I
Yeah.
think when you're in your flow and when you found your thing, it could be when you're 70. I don't care. It could be when you're 20. But when you found your thing, there's no undoing it. And I have really found like, can you imagine waking up tomorrow and being like, yeah, I'm just gonna go sell ice cream cone. Not that there's anything wrong with selling ice cream cones, but
No.
it's like, this is this is your
Oh,
passion.
I-
This is what you dream about. This is what you bring to the world. This is your platform that you can talk about kindness and all. I mean, it's all married together. And I think that it's so important for people to understand when you look in the mirror and you go, I can't not be this person, you
no.
have found your calling.
Absolutely. And I think, a lot of times, and I mean, my road in the USA has been tough. You come from like a third world country in South Africa and you come to a global economy the size of the USA. Yes, there's huge opportunity, but there's huge competition. The amount of no's, the amount of doors closed, the amount of this never going to work, the amount of Natalie, I literally was driving myself mad because I was listening to all these people trying to guide me and this and that. And eventually I said, you know what, Natalie, just shut up. Like,
Yep.
everybody just keep quiet. I said, Natalie, do what you do.
Do what you
And
do.
you follow yourself. And then I started to do the trajectory upward. But it has been brutal, tough, and it has to try and relearn everything. I've had to relearn so much because it's just so different here. But funny enough, you say, yeah, I've been often, I've said, you know what, Nat, I'm done. I'm done. There's no more crystals for me, no more jewelry. I'm done. And then I'm like, okay, I think I'm just going to take a bit of a sabbatical. Oh, give me 2 days. And I'm like, no, I'm not done. I've got to do something. So because it's here, right?
It's there.
Yeah,
Yep. It's in the heart. It's in the gut.
Natalie, if you've done that, then what about your message of kindness? And so many people you inspire. And there's days that you get really down. There's days that you're like, am I making a difference? And it's so weird how the universe works. And then you're just going to get a message from somebody out of the blue in my inbox saying, thank you so much. I met somebody in the shopping center and they saw your mask and we took a photo and we got to know them. And it's just like, this is why.
Yeah.
This is why you do it. And those are the driving forces that drive fuel to my fire. Even if one person I'm touching, that fuel is just go for it, go for it, go for it.
Yeah. And I don't think people like my listeners, if someone sends me a message or if, I know them personally and they send me a text or whatever, I don't think people can possibly understand for a solopreneur, for an entrepreneur, just anybody, how much knowing that we're making a difference means to hear that. Cause it's a quiet place. It's a very, there's not a lot of noise telling you, oh, and Natalie, you get a raise or you're getting a promotion or, you know what I mean? Like, or an award show or your 10-year watch or whatever. Like it has to come from within, and it does. And it is interesting the way that the universe does show up as friends and customers and listeners to say, wow, I heard that, or wow, I wore your necklace and I made 2 friends because they complimented me, or I felt beautiful and I haven't been out in a while, or I had a date night, like those things matter, like there's those pieces of jewelry that we all have that mean more, that you remember wearing when, you know what I mean? And it just stays with you forever. And I love that.
And funny enough, I went to a restaurant the other day and I bumped into, so we got quite a lot of brand ambassadors. So the brand ambassadors out there, they promote the brand and they get commission, because I thought we get so much referrals. I want to empower these women. So let's create an ambassador program so they can get commission. And I was just out for dinner the one night and one of the ladies came, she goes, "Oh, you Natalie?" I said, "Yes." And she's like, she loves the mask and she's actually a waitress, and she was saying it is such a good conversation starter because she goes and she's wearing the bling mask. Where did you get it? She goes, it breaks the ice and it's such a good conversation. And that's what's good about it, right? That's why I love bling, because you always feel funny. When you see a bag that's blinged out, it just does something to you. When you see a good pair of earrings, it just does something. So that's why I love it, because it just creates fun and compliments. You look good. Like the amount of people say the compliments, like it makes me feel like you did a good job. Like, pat yourself on the back. You need to acknowledge yourself. Why, right? So you did a good job, Natalie. And that's self-acknowledgement and self-awareness is also so important. I'm hard on myself. I'm sometimes brutally hard on myself. And I'm Natalie, just stop it. And you got to like go back and okay, yeah.
Yeah, my husband calls me a magpie because every time we like walk by a store, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's like, magpie, you're so bad. Because I don't look like it today because I was just walking before this recording, but the bling is everything. It just makes you feel, like you said, lighter. So I want to make sure that everyone knows you're Natalie Mills Global for Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
And then Natalie Mills Jewelry for Instagram. And then your nataliemills.com for your website.
Yes, that's
and
right.
Remind me, okay, so I just want to make sure that we have all the information with the ambassador program. Do you bring people on? Do they message you? Like if someone's listening to this,
they can apply. If they want to, they can send us a message to ambassadors@nataliemills.com. We've got our lovely, beautiful Rachel. She's the ambassador success coach. So she kind of sets everybody up for success. But they can go onto the website and they can apply there. They can also send us an inbox on any one of our social media platforms and apply there. And I just encourage them, we're a good family. We motivate each other. And it's also, if you're wearing a product, just get commission, right? Because you're always referring somebody. So just empowering them to do that. So they can do that there. And also want to encourage anybody listening, if you know anybody that has created such an impact in your life through an act of kindness, into them. I want you to spotlight other people and show, you made this difference. So that's also on our website for them to win a $500 Visa gift card voucher.
That's awesome. I mean, hello, go there and then nominate your mother for Mother's Day, or father for Father's Day is coming up, or whatever, your girlfriend, your sister, go there and nominate someone and then, that's amazing. I love that. And well, I just really appreciate you being here and sharing your story. I mean,
thank you. It's been fun, right?
Oh my God. I mean, not many times do I get someone on here that has such a beautiful accent. So, I mean, I'm like, just keep talking. Just keep talking.
What must I say? How are you today? Just keep, because I love the American accent. So even in South Africa, when like the American used to phone, I used to, this is an American on the phone. Listen. Oh, they sound so clever. I just love it. So to me, I'm like, I've got a flat accent. I love you guys. I love you all. But I must say the journey here wouldn't have been as incredible because it's just the people. And, I'm from Dallas, Texas now. The people, the culture, the amount of people that just help you and encourage you. It's just so important. So let's encourage and help and inspire other people. We need people. We need that acknowledgement. But it's been such a beautiful journey. And I love my new home. I love it and I'm proud. And it's been a dream and it's been an honor.
Well, we're so happy that you're here in the States with us. I'm sure you miss your family back in South Africa. But I just love your pieces. Comes with a
sacrifice. Everything. Pick your sacrifice is what I always say.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
It's been amazing.
Everybody go over to nataliemills.com and check out her beautiful pieces. Because I'm in heaven looking at her and what she's wearing today. So go over to YouTube and check it out. I know, it's great. Thanks for listening. If you would like to connect on a more personal level, head over to meredythwillits.com or on Instagram @Meredyth with a Y for behind-the-scene footage and outtakes. Please subscribe and come back each week for more Meredyth with a Y. Thanks again for listening. Cheers.